started, just to introduce all of the participants in today's workflow. So we have Lloyds as the receiving party, ICPP as pledging, which we will manage through Ownera. We're using Fireblocks wallets to sign all of the transactions and to custody the keys for the initial and variation margin. We're going to be using UBS tokens for the redemption process. These UBS tokens are being issued on the testnet for UBS using Ethereum. Adara is going to be managing the redemption process for cash, and then Zero Beta is going to be providing the call notices into the margin system. I'll send these diagrams out after our call, but this is a simplistic view of the different flows that we're going to be demonstrating today. With that said, I want to make sure that we have all of the right people on. So Peter, you have access to the system. You're ready to go. Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm logged into the collateral manager, yes.
Excellent. You're like a pro at this now. Okay, and Adara, you're all ready to go, and Zero Beta, you're ready to go. Yeah, and I think in the background, what we're going to have is the UBS team are going to be looking at their own ether scan just to also see the movements, to verify the on-chain movements between participants. Okay, so with that being said, what we're going to do, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and bear with me 1 second, come out of this. And we're going to begin the process. So I think the first step in the process is that the initial margin calls are initiated by Zero Beta. So there's going to be initial margin that these are going to execute automatically following the margin generation by Zero Beta. So Hirania, could you send those in?
Yeah, sure. Sending them in.
I'm just going to share my screen and then you'll be able to see when Hirania has sent in those initial margins.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to refresh that now. Okay, so you'll see here this new margin request came in for 1 million. That is a transfer. So Lloyds is going to be transferring State Street assets to ICCP, and then ICCP will be transferring, there should be another one here as well. ICCP is transferring, yeah, so we've got a State Street one here that I'm going to click approve to. And this one here is also pending, which is the UBS token being transferred to Lloyds. So what we will be able to see in both the Lloyds account, so this is Lloyds' account here. If I refresh the Lloyds account, you'll be able to see the different assets that have been transferred. So this one here is this recent UBS fund that was transferred. And I'll just scroll down. You'll see the transaction here was just executed at 9/11. 1 million of UBS funds were transferred to Lloyds. And if I look also at, sorry, I just moved this. Into this is ICCP's similar view, have a slightly different interface because it's managed through RChack. You'll see also the balances. So this State Street fund was transferred to ICCP. Now these transfers are locked in a custodial wallet, so can only be released following default. And the variation margin, which is going to come now, is the thing that actually can be rehypothecated. So when it's initial margin, they're locked under UMR rules, but for variation margin, they're something that's free and unencumbered, so you can use it for secondaries and obviously rehypothecation into funding facilities. So Hirania, could you send in now the variation margin? And in this one, we're actually going to get Lloyds to share their screen. So when that one comes in, so Peter, maybe you can open your screen. We're going to wait for that variation margin to come in.
There we go.
But don't do anything just yet, Peter. So I'll give you the instruction when to click. And so you'll see an amount roughly. So we see a margin call for 238,693. So what's going to happen in the background? The ICCP collateral desk is going to say, yes, I'm going to approve this transaction. That's going in to ICCP. We're going to approve that transaction at ICCP. So don't do anything yet. Then we have a rogue trader, which is Yuval, that went and basically sold and got rid of all his money, cash, when a little bit dodgy. And so when this trade tries to settle, it's actually going to fail. So Yuval's going to tell me when he's spent all his money. Sorry, we've got a little bit of background noise going on. If anyone who's not speaking can mute.
Done.
So Peter, you can now click approve. Yep. So confirm the transaction. And if you go into your transaction manager, if you close that out, and on the left-hand side, you'll see your transaction logs. And you'll see the top one is actually failed. So what's happened is insufficient balance. Now the system is resilient, so you can go back into that collateral request and try again. So if you go back into that transaction, obviously this is a real life situation. People are short all the time. Yet they can cover it through repo and various other facilities. They could also buy more money market funds to post if they had cash available. So again, you're going to try again and go back to your transaction log, and you'll see it's immediately failed. Okay. Nice. Okay, naughty Yuval trader. Let's put him in jail. What's going to happen now is Lloyds are going to say, right, enough is enough, and we're going to close out this transaction. So we're going to hand over to Zero Beta to actually show their screen and demonstrate what's going to happen on a closeout.
Sure. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so these are the this is our margin runs view, and these are the initial margin that we initiated earlier for 1 million, and then the variation margin was sent out for this amount. Yeah, and however it has got failed. So now we are moving on to our position management view. And I'll first go to this collateral account under Lloyds, where you will see in the Zero Beta system as well the transferred UBS asset here, 1 million. And then I'm going to go to ICCP collateral account, where you'll see 1 million of the SS asset. Then I will go to one of the margin accounts on ICCP, and we can see the swap here, swap position here. And then I'm going to right click there and default it. So for the defaulting, so there's an open VM liability of this amount which failed earlier. And on top of that, I can add a fee. So that could be to cover any legal fees or any other charges related to the default, and which brings the total redemption value to 300,000, and then that means 700,000 will be returned to ICCP, and Lloyds will receive the whole 1 million from ICCP. And I will submit this now. Yeah, back to you, Natasha.
Great. So in Lloyds' account, we're going to be able to now see 3 transactions. One is the closeout mark-to-market valuation, whereby they're keeping 300,000 and they're going to redeem it against cash. So we're going to show that flow. Then you've got the return of the earmarked collateral of 1 million State Street funds, and then the residual balance. So we see those three different report types. So if we start with the 300,000, if you click that one, on our previous demo, there was a requirement to show clearly this 300,000, what it is, what we're doing here. So you'll see this little pop-up screen that shows this is a default closeout and exactly why. So the mark to market of the transaction was determined at 300,000. If Peter now clicks redeem, what we're going to see is a pop-up that allows you to redeem on the right-hand side. There's a little box. If you click redeem and you type in 300,000, and you're going to select the destination account, which is UBS. So this is a UBS token redeeming against UBS coin, and you're going to confirm. We're actually going to hand over to Adara now, just to show their screen and exactly what's going on in the background. Adara, yeah, cool, Pete, there you go.
Thanks, Natasha. So this is UBS's view of through DC Commander of the deposit token solution. You can see this is their balance, so the funds will be paid out of this account. And you can see here they've already gone. So just zoom in a little bit here. So 10/18, 300,000 were paid out and were paid to this account, which is Lloyd's account on the UBS deposit token solution. So that all went through. Stop sharing, I'll go back to you.
Okay. So I'm just going to share and show you the actual steps that are involved in this process. So as Pete said, the plan is approved. We've agreed the plan. Then hold instructions have gone between parties. So we've held the securities, then we've held the cash. And if I refresh now, you'll see that the release has been done and the redeem has occurred. If I look in Lloyd's portfolio view, just here, so the initial balance was 46819 in UBS coin. You'll see that change unless it's already changed. Yeah, sorry, it already changed ahead of me. But over here on the right-hand side, you'll see that transaction of 300,000 redeemed at 9/18. So that has increased the cash balances in Lloyd's account. Pete, did you want to mention anything here, Peter, from Lloyd's, just in terms of this flow and like what else is possible? Like you've got this UBS deposit token now.
Well, I mean, what's brilliant with Lloyd's and UBS is that we're both participants in finality. So if this was sterling, for instance, then we could redeem that UBS deposit token to finality pounds. And hopefully one day in the not too distant future, there'll be a dollar finality account that this could be redeemed against too. Which means we could ultimately have central bank money settlement to complete this workflow one day.
Yeah, great. It's really powerful, I think. And just the speed of that redemption as well just shows how quickly these money market funds can be converted into cash if needed, but also the equivalence of those money market funds in collateral management tools and how the banks are managing their balance sheet. The final step in the process is just to finish off all of the collateral movements. So now that Lloyd's have successfully done the redemption, you can actually start returning collateral. Obviously, this is the final step. We can get Lloyd's to share their screen and finish off. So you'll be requesting first for your State Street funds to come back. In a real life situation, we imagine this would be more of a DVD transaction, but we've slowed it down for the purpose of this demo, just to show that you would only initiate the return of collateral once you're happy and satisfied that the redemption of the money market funds has occurred and you've got sufficient cover on those. So if you click approve on that transaction, we'll do the same on the other side. Cool. And if you confirm that one as well. So the million now has completed if you refresh your screen. And then we're just waiting for the 700 to complete as well. So the UBS funds have been moved back successfully. I'll just double check we've confirmed that one. Through. Okay.
Yeah, it takes time. Yeah.
I'm too impatient. Like, this is why blockchain was built. For Natasha's impatience. Okay, so now it's all completed and everything is closed. You never have to trade with ICCP again. Okay, so yeah, that's the demo done. So I think today's demo went really nicely, just showed the power of the system. And we said before, we can connect all of these different margin calls in different ways. They can be auto-executed. You can slow them down so that you have eyes on it within the collateral teams so they can actually manage it if they want to. But I think the process of redeeming the collateral and having the smart contract affect those margin calls is really powerful. Any comments? I suppose we haven't really heard from the UBS tokenization team. They've been sat there in the background just receiving orders. Eric and Blanc, any comments from your side?
Yeah, I can see the transaction is successfully run on the testnet, so I think it's good on our side. So maybe Bron, do you have a few words?
Not from me, thank you.
Oh, and Peter and David, anything from your side?
No, I mean, it's great to keep adding the complexity to these workflows so that you're not just automating the high frequency activity like the variation margin, but also streamlining the obviously more stressful and difficult occasions where actually having automation can obviously help us make sure we're submitting accurate instructions and things like this. And be interesting to see where and how we can evolve this to try and help make sure that we submit details that are compliant with sort of the ISDA closeout process, etc. So this sort of workflow could help us submit and provide court documents one day that won't be the subjects of negotiation, and all of the legal part can be as streamlined as the sort of technology part of the workflow.
Yeah, exactly. We can generate that off of the smart contract as well. Cool. Any other questions before we just talk about next steps and next week's workflow? And if you put your hand up, we'll take questions. No? Okay, let me just share the screen again. So next week, we have our final demonstration. It's a biggie. So yeah, next week we're going to be showing 2 simulations. At the moment it's scheduled, it says the 12th, it's actually the 14th. For the 14th, same time, we are going to be showing 2 simulations, also kind of stressing it and putting complexity into this simulation. So simulation 3 is the substitution. This is where a fund breaks the buck, so to speak, and there is a requirement to substitute the collateral for something else. So we're going to be substituting in without a tokeny issued money market fund is simulated, and then we're going to be substituting in a Franklin Templeton fund, and this is the digitally native Franklin Templeton fund, which is awesome. It's issued in Luxembourg, and through the research working group, we've actually demonstrated this one is highly effective and compliant for this whole process of collateral management. Simulation 6 is also going to involve the Franklin Templeton Fund, and in this one we're going to be showing how actually the parties can start moving the tokenized money market fund given in variation margin around each other. So Commerzbank will post to UBS. UBS will then enter into a tri-party repo with State Street, a tri-party repo will be done with State Street, and there is a process in which that repo is going to be funded using Finality Cash. and it is simulated dollars. So really powerful to show that actually you can start moving it around, funding against it. It has utility and re-hypothecation. So that's all next week. Super exciting. Yeah, lots to do before then. So thank you all for your time. Any other comments before we wrap up, Ami? Anything from you?
Yes, I have one comment. So next week we're going to see the in the repo use case. So this is a small group, and so I'll share that later today. We're going to announce together with JP Morgan that the same flow that we're going to use next week for the repo, the flow that is using the router to orchestrate the trades, is now in production and actually traded over $5 billion in the first month of operation. So it's in production at scale. So yeah, so that's kind of big news for this project as well, because everything we're doing here is a simulation pre-production. We want to take it to production. It's not a it's not a simulation for the sake of simulation. We want to go live with this. So having this in production is a big deal.
Thanks, Ami. And yes,